A Union Pacific maintenance of way train makes its way westbound on the Palmdale cutoff, connecting with BNSF's Cajon Pass subdivision at Summit, just ahead. We're on the BNSF and Union Pacific Cajon Pass at Hill 582. This train is on the Union Pacific Palmdale cutoff, and below is BNSF's Cajon Pass tracks 1 and 2. Behind is track 3. The date is May 13th, 2023. This is part 2 of my 2-part video series in the Cajon Pass. In part 1, we chased trains from Keenbrook up to Summit, and then took some time to spot trains on Hill 582. In this part, we'll see some rare trains and some awesome shots in Hill 582, with some of the intense action on the Cajon Pass of trains entering and exiting the Southern California area. This Union Pacific maintenance of way train was climbing the hill on the Palmdale cutoff before entering the BNSF's Cajon Pass at Control Point Summit. This maintenance of way equipment is part of Union Pacific's SMRT, or Scrap Material Recycling Team, and is used to collect items along the roadway, such as ties and spare material, to keep the roadway clean. According to Union Pacific, this machinery is used to keep the right-of-way clean. It mostly picks up ties, clears vegetation, collects scrap metal, and loads cars with ballast. On the front car are 2 Caterpillar loaders, and behind them are cars used to store the ties. They can move between the cars on rails on either side of the car. The front car is unpowered and provides ramps for loading and unloading the equipment, while the rear car is based on an SD40-2 with a new body and cab. According to Union Pacific, as of 2022, they had 6 of these pieces of equipment, with plans to add 1 in the future. These equipment are made by Railco, which is a subsidiary of Wabtec. Not long after, the next train heads eastbound into Los Angeles. This is a double-stack, high-priority intermodal train on main number 3. This is the first train on main number 3 of the day that I caught. During my time on the Cajon Pass, mostly westbound, shorter double-stack trains used track number 3. This is because of the 3% grade. That makes it difficult for longer trains or trains going up the pass to use this main line. Therefore, it's preferable to use this main line for trains going downhill, westbound, and for shorter trains.
Give me a call after 1 each, fellow.
An eastbound intermodal double-stack train traverses the pass on track number 2 and approaches Summit after passing Hill 582. Despite the 3-track layout, dispatchers can typically route trains in any direction on any track. In this case, a train race. On track number 1 comes another double-stack train run by BNSF. This shot gives us a good opportunity to note that not all double-stack trains are created equal. The first train on the right is extremely high priority. You can tell this by the multitude of FedEx and Amazon containers. These are extremely high priority, time-sensitive, high-paying customers. These trains are nicknamed on the railroad "get you fired" trains, because if you make them late, they'll typically get you fired. The train on the left is a lower priority intermodal train. The reason it's lower priority is the containers aboard are typically lower paying or bulk commodity customers. Note the change in color between the two trains. The first train is mostly made up of FedEx, Amazon, and J.B. Hunt containers. These carry individual packages or high priority goods and will likely end up on someone's loading dock or doorstep in the next day or hours. The containers in the second train are mostly overseas, long-haul carriers. These are usually bulk commodity goods coming from manufacturing centers in Asia. MSC, Sealand Maersk, and Triton are often containers that are going to distribution centers or factories in the United States. Although it is important for the railroad to be on time with these containers, the consequences are far less severe than being late with a FedEx train or Amazon train. One last noteworthy detail. Notice how a lot of trains are homogeneous. This train has mostly the same type of container on it, and the previous train did as well. This is because at the Port of Long Beach, container ships are offloaded by company, which means that container trains will originate with similar groupings of companies at the Port of Long Beach. Vice versa, container trains coming in are usually sorted by company so that they can go directly to their loading dock at the Port of Long Beach.
BNSF, go dispatcher, emergency radio, over. BNSF 8276 West, an emergency here, milepost 57.1, main track 2, over. Emergency milepost 57.2, over. 57.1, main track 2, over. Alright, you know the cause of your emergency there, over? Train line, we're guessing we have some autos on the head end. We're guessing we got an air hose. Check it out there now, over.
Before the previous stack train made it over the summit, the next train made it through Summit and westbound through Hill 582. This is a short westbound manifest, with the last unit being BNSF 119, an upgraded GP60M-3, which is former Santa Fe and used to wear the Warbonnet paint scheme. The radio transmission you heard previous was the train going into emergency just before Hill 582. This was caused by an air hose becoming disconnected on car number 8. The delay took about an hour to clear and held up trains, which meant that there was a constant storm of trains for the next 3 to 4 hours after this one cleared.
All the way off. Try that old switcher one. Maybe just push the button a couple of times. Maybe come up to the next one.
Almost immediately after the previous manifest train, a very high priority intermodal train takes main number 3. Again, this is a short train headed westbound, therefore it is ideal for main number 3. Main number 3 was built in 2008 by the BNSF to relieve congestion along the line. It came at a cost of $90 million and seems to be well worth it, as it was well used during my time there. A massive double-stacked intermodal train, likely out of the port of Long Beach, heads eastbound on main number 2. This train was huge and required a lot of engines in the front, plus a DPU set in the middle of the train. BNSF is one of the few railroads to state that it did not implement PSR, or Precision Scheduled Railroading, into its operations. This train would definitely make you think otherwise, with its massive length and mid-train DPUs. At this point, I made the decision to stay at Hill 582 for a few more trains. This was because the sun was starting to go down, and I had a long drive back to my place in Los Angeles. Mid-train DPUs used to be staffed by their own set of locomotive crew. Nowadays, these mid-train DPUs are controlled remotely by the front locomotive on almost every single railroad. Yet another eastbound high-priority intermodal carrying many more of the Amazon cars and JB Hunt cars heads eastbound on main number 2 past Hill 582. At this point, you can notice the shadows being cast as the sun starts to set on the afternoon. an extremely clean ST70 ACE leads another high-priority intermodal stack train on main number 3 past Hill 582. This would be the last train of the day, as with the setting sun and the treacherous drive off of Hill 582 still ahead of me, I decided to make my way home, as I've caught a ton of trains on the Cajon Pass. On the way down from Hill 582, my rental car definitely gave me a struggle. My choice in Model 3 was definitely not the appropriate choice for Hill 582, but I managed to escape unscathed and with zero damage to the car and continue my way back to Southern California. Cajon Pass absolutely lived up to the hype. Trains were constant and the locations were absolutely amazing. There's a ton of railfanning knowledge and videos about this pass. I would highly suggest reading up and informing yourself on all of the locations and trains along the Cajon Pass before visiting. I used a combination of watching a ton of YouTube videos as well as reading Trains Magazine, which has a large fold-out in one of their previous issues. On my way down from the mountain, this train snuck up on me, and as luck would have it, it had a pretty interesting consist. I wasn't able to get great photos, but this is the best video I got. The KCS locomotive 3rd is a leased locomotive sold to KCS by BNSF. Hill 582 is a railfanning location in the middle of the Cajon Pass. It's situated on a hill with a great view of Cajon Pass, mains 1, 2, and 3, as well as the Union Pacific Palmdale cutoff. On my time, I met a few other rail fans. If you're watching, hello. This is definitely an awesome oasis in the desert to watch trains. The views are pretty awesome in either direction at all times of day. You can definitely get some good shots of the trains coming on different main lines. I want to extend a thank you to the Trainmaster website folks for providing some information on the hill, especially information on whether my Model 3 could make it up the hill. It did, but I definitely would recommend a slightly larger ground clearance vehicle when coming up the hill. Make sure to visit their website for detailed instructions on how to reach the hill, as it's not off of a major road and requires some dirt roading to get to. After Hill 582, I'd head into Victorville to grab some classic In-N-Out burger before heading back to LA to continue with my summer in Los Angeles. Future videos include time in Fullerton on the Metrolink, in San Diego on California's Surfliner, and the Pacific Harbor Belt Railroad in Long Beach. Overall, my time at the Cajon Pass was really impressive. The shots were absolutely amazing in all the different locations. It required a lot of research to get to know all the locations, so thank you to anyone who responded to all of my message board and Facebook posts requesting information and guidance. Thanks for watching both parts of my Cajon Pass video series. Expect more videos about Los Angeles and Southern California in the weeks to come. Additionally, make sure to check out my channel for other videos all across the country. Thank you.